like he is getting the education or the challenge that he needs. And I've had a lot of families go through the same problems. So that's a huge one for me. And that's something that my husband and I reevaluate every year, trying to figure out what's the right decision to take with him, which then might make a big decision for middle school. So I think the after-school care program, I should talk to you.
I'm listening.
Okay, so after-school care is, I think, a huge problem. The PTA runs our enrichment program after school. It's not affordable for most families. Kids love it, and then a lot of families need just that after-school care. It might be 1 day, 2 days, all days. The YMCA or H School has a different after-school program in the school. It's so competitive, and it shouldn't be like that. Every family should have the opportunity to automatically sign their kids up. I know a family that's moving here this summer. They're on all these wait lists and can't get after-school care. So I think that needs to be a necessity. Continuing with the arts, full-time art, music, PE program, etc. is crucial. I loved that our school had instruments for 4th and 5th grade.
Oh, yeah.
And my boys were really looking forward to that. And now I'm really nervous that they might not learn a musical instrument. Because I think that's crucial, not just in there.
You lost your music teacher.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I've heard of other schools that don't have access to art every week, or it's a lottery to get into the art class. To me, that needs to be a part of general education. And then, special education in general needs to be an option for everybody.
At all schools.
At all schools, no doubt about it.
It's an opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. I do have one quick clarifying question. When you said your child qualified for HCC, is that based on testing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes.
Exact same
Fairmount
notes.
Park. Okay. Fairmount Park.
Exact same notes.
All righty. Thank you. Rox Hill.
So it's very much in line in terms of enrichment, but I from the inside, so much of our schedule is packed with the curriculum that we have that allows very little wiggle room. Even when we're supposed to be teaching social studies and science, the amount of time that each component of the curriculum that we have, CCC, and then
Envision Math.
Envision Math, it pretty much fills up our day to the point where we're not able to do as much enrichment because the kids want and need. And that also includes field trips, which I think for Roxville, Title I schools is very important because a lot of these kids get to experience and see the world through those field trips and through school experiences. And so when we're stuck with a very rigid curriculum system that we can't deviate from, that goes every single minute of the day, we can't give the kids what they kind of need to motivate them to continue in education in terms of why am I doing this? And when you have the ability to go to Tacoma, to the State Museum, or to the Science Center, or even just go into the sound, that really motivates kids to learn more. Something that I wish we could do more in general, which I kind of get away with as a special ed teacher. I have a principal who's she's excellent in that if I can explain and justify it, I get to play games with my kids. So I myself do basically a chess club with my kids who need to work on executive functioning. So being able to plan ahead, thinking what are you thinking about? What are you going to do next? So but that's because I'm a special ed teacher and I can say my kids have certain specific needs that this game meets. I can explain why. But I feel it shouldn't be restricted to just the students on my caseload because there's a lot of these types of activities are very beneficial to kids, from special ed who have deficits to HCC, and they just don't get the same amount they used to when we were in school.
Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate your honesty. Okay, Warren Stem.
So my personal, and it's been this way my whole life, is arts versus sports. And sports get so much funding and arts are always slashed. So I'm very much in agreement but my kids love it. We don't have languages, which I wish we did in the middle school.
Yeah, forgot about
Those
that.
are those for my family are really important.
Are you saying language in middle and high school?
Yeah,
All
yeah, we don't have
elementary.
or like Concord program with the
Immersion
Warren.
yes.
Warren doesn't have any languages, and that's whatever it is. It's okay. That's what I'm just saying. That's the question. What are we valuing?
Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate it. Stanislav.
I think top of my list was affordable or sliding scale before care and after care. I think that as a program is just really crucial. Speaking from the elementary school perspective, we mentioned it earlier, but highly capable and advanced learning, actually having curriculum support or actually playing out in schools is missing currently and would be really strong. Mindfulness and social emotional skills are really crucial, and I feel like one of the things I really love about Stanislaw is for a very long time they've had an active mindfulness program that has just been incorporated into every grade, and I literally have seen my kid go from kindergarten to now 4th grade, and I see his cohort of kids, like even at birthday parties when things are pure chaos, like going and sitting and taking deep breaths and like exactly what you would hope they have incorporated of how to handle their emotions. And so that's really crucial to me, those skills. I think another thing, this kind of ties into the school supports that we were talking about, but some of the behavioral support from a programmatic perspective I think is really powerful. At Stanislaw, I've heard them referred to as like a friendship circle, but there have been situations where my kid has been pretty close friends with someone who's having some behavioral struggles, and the behavioral interventionist would pull that kid out of class to do some interventions and pull one or two friends into a friendship circle and like really make that this programmatic effort that even my kid benefited from as a friend, understanding and empathizing with someone who sometimes acted out in ways that didn't feel good to him. So I thought that was really strong. Things I wish more of, they said enrichment, so I'm not even thinking traditional within school structure, but extra things, including language learning, I think is really powerful, or additional music like instruments and that kind of learning. And then to me, like additional programs I wish we had more of would include substance abuse education for 5th grade and up, just in terms of prevention and that kind of thing, as well as anti-racist and anti-sexist training and conversations, I think are really crucial.
Today we had our all the administrators. We were all at West Seattle High School, and we talked about restorative practices and implementing circle time at Highland Park. In the master schedule, we have SEL in our master schedule. So in the morning, the first 30 minutes, 20 minutes of the day, we start off with teaching. So hearing how your child can self-regulate, self-monitor, and take those steps, that's what we want every student to get to. Because we teach it, and we practice. But the goal is to have those students to be able to self-calm themselves and go and sit and take those deep breaths. So we need to step up our game too at Highland Park, because we do teach it, but we want to be able to give our kids that opportunity to say, identify their own needs and what are you going to do about it. So that's great to hear.
Tool for the toolkit.
Yes, a tool for the toolkit. Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, I would just add on to the social emotional piece, because I think it's district practice that we all have circle time in our classrooms, but SEL is pretty much combined to that one chunk of the day. And I like sort of going back to the fact that our days have had like other opportunities to work on SEL, especially like doing those friendship groups, or like that's something that we invested in at Roxville, because we, like a lot of our 4th and 5th graders came back with some social deficits because of the pandemic, and we've had to really prioritize that, which has been really great. But we had to make the intentional decision that we're doing this, like taking it a little bit from what is supposed to be other academic times. But it's sort of this thing where if our students are struggling with self-regulation and emotional behavior, are they actually like getting anything by forcing them to sit down and do academics? And so like how do we add in that flexibility of like meeting the kids' needs, whether that be like the academic needs for the day or the social emotional needs during the day? So it's because that community circle is like very, it's like, you know, it's for everybody the same skill, whereas like some kids need more like specific, like, okay, so you guys got into an argument and you said like some racist things to each other and like we need to have a conversation about this. But there's not as much flexibility in the day to have those conversations in general outside like that community circle time. So especially now, since mental health is such a big issue for our students, both with like COVID and like how like social media is impacting them and TikTok, I despise TikTok now.
But it has to be a priority, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what Seattle School District is asking, and they're pushing on this. So those big circles are important, but those small ones too. You do have to have those anti-racist conversations, and you have to teach those kids with the I statement. This is what I heard. This is how it made me feel. So it was a great training today, and I can't wait to share with my staff. Even though we do it, but there's always growth.
Yeah.
You know, at every school. So those circles are really, really important, and you have to make it a priority because the mental health of our students, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't support the needs of these kids socially and emotionally. So I appreciate you sharing that. Because every school is different, right? Every school is unique, and we're all learning together and trying to do better. So it's nice to hear your feedback because I'm going to take some of these things back to my school. Okay, what can I do better as a principal next year at Highland Park Elementary? So, anything else? What did you think about this whole process? Being able to come as a community and sit at a table and hear from different schools. What do you think about the entire process overall?
I think this is great. I think it should be done on a larger scale. Like I think this is like a teeny tiny percentage of West Seattle. So I don't know how they could do this on a wider scale to actually get more data. I feel like this to make more changes.
Worry about how representative it is. People were able to come and sit down. It's a lovely conversation.
Yeah.
It's really useful for me to hear the different perspective, but I'm concerned whether the perspective here is actually represented. And then some of this honestly feels a little bit performative. We did a community outreach meeting. We've checked that on the plan. We did community outreach.
And we can count all these people and say they all contributed to our great idea here.
So I think it remains to be seen if and how anything's discussed actually get used, right? I understand it's a form of gathering data and anecdotes, and I believe it will actually be reviewed and thought about, but I'm not sure whether it will actually change anything.
So I think that for me, being part of the Seattle School District and being an administrator, how can I do this on a smaller scale just for my school so that we can improve and grow in areas with concerns? Because I do think that if it was Highland Park, if it's Rock Hill, you would get those families to come.
And you as a principal can make those changes.
Yes, their school is their community.